Okay guys, welcome back to Most Amazing Things. Today we are going to do a new series called Creature Feature. And today the creature feature is this salamander that should be in the middle of your screen. So this is called a spotted salamander, and they live in the United States. So these kind of salamanders can live in lots of different habitats. They usually like to live on land but near water. This is a salamander's view of the world.
Hey, can you get me in a shot now? Hey,
And this is my
Herps here. So, here's a salamander. For now, his name's Stubby.
Stubby.
Gotta get my hands wet.
Stubby the spotted salamander.
Now here he is. And he's walking.
Plop.
He's okay.
Small animals usually don't. Here's one fact about most small animals. Most small animals do not don't usually get hurt from fall damage, because the fall damage is not as bad because they're smaller animals, so there's not as much weight, so there's not as much force of the animal hitting the ground. These kind of animals are very tough. They can live almost in any clean. They can live around ponds. They can live around lakes. And sometimes you might even find some swimming around in a large puddle. But it probably won't happen because puddles dry up quickly. You can find salamanders near ponds, under damp logs, or near ponds. Sometimes.
Can I put them in the puddle area thingy?
Not right now. Sometimes you can see them swimming around. Sometimes you can see them swimming around in shallow water, though, but they don't really swim normally. They usually like to live on land. Whoops. These salamanders usually live in lots of different places. And Stubby here, I found him at the pond near my house. See, Stubby wants to say hi. Stubby, say hi to the camera. Say hi to the camera, Stubby. Good.
Hey.
Whoop. Oh, he's slipping out of my hands.
Hey, here, JKM Herps here.
Here, JKM Herps.
I just did 2 videos today. I mean, at the time of posting this video, of course.
So now we're gonna do some shots of Stubby the salamander in a sled full of water.
Don't worry, this is safe.
See, there he is.
They're
Swimming
not really
around,
good swimmers
walking around.
They're used to being underground.
They're actually very good at swimming.
Mm-hmm.
So these kind of salamanders are very good at swimming, and sometimes you can see the larvae of these kind of salamanders swimming around swimming around in ponds and lakes.
Mm-hmm. Although they do also like digging.
They also like to dig, and they hibernate in the wintertime.
And their family name is mole salamanders, because they like to dig like moles, even though they don't look like a mole.
Here he is walking in the water. Here's Stubby walking around in the water. He's next to seeds. Ooh. So there's a good shot of him swimming around, pretty much just walking on the bottom. Whenever these guys are in water, they tend to stay in the bottom. Nice Stubby.
And let's see if he wants to walk on the mossy grass thing.
he is. And here he is sitting on the ground. He's very lazy. They don't usually move around much. Especially in the early springtime.
Which is right now. Even though it's technically not spring, but we just like to call it spring.
And there he is, sitting. Stubby, why not you have your face facing the camera, not your butt? There we go. So there's Stubby. These kind of salamanders normally live in the eastern United States. This salamander here we found at a pond near my house, and he's very happy. Don't worry, we are taking great care of him.
Can I hold him now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, he wants to say hi. Here, say hi to the cameras again.
Okay.
He doesn't want to say hi to the cameras.
Okay.
Here, now Garrett J. Cam Herbst gets turned. Hold him.
Okay. So,
Now you tell us some facts about salamanders.
You've pretty much covered pretty much everything. But you don't have to. But if you want to, you can check out my channel, Garrett J. Cam Herbst. You can see a lot of interesting subjects.
Yeah, lots of different.
Mostly reptiles.
Yeah, and amphibians.
Oops, he's okay.
They also these kind of salamanders also like to live in the woods too. They normally live in moist, damp areas. You can find them under damp logs, and the best time to look for them is after it rains or near water.
And they also like sleds somehow. They also kind of like sleds. Even though they don't even know what a sled is. What does the word sled mean? What is a sled?
Stubby likes sledding.
Although his kind of sledding is going underwater in a sled full of water.
He's kicking around all the decomposing algae and stuff at the bottom.
These guys also like to eat tadpoles.
These kind of salamanders are carnivores, but they will eat anything from insects and spiders to small tadpoles, and maybe even tiny frogs. They normally like to eat insects and small tadpoles. So these salamanders are very safe to find. You can look. They're pretty different kinds of salamanders are pretty much everywhere. As long as the area is not polluted. They also normally like to live in areas with lots of water and lots of rain and enough rain to keep them moist. These kind of salamanders must stay moist at all times because they breathe through their skin, and if they're not moist, then they cannot breathe.
And don't worry, I haven't washed my hands in a while. And if you wash your hands, and if you touch them right after you washed your hands, they can absorb the harmful soap, which can hurt them.
Soap is also very harmful for amphibians. So if you ever hold an amphibian, just make sure you don't wash your hands before holding it.
Not the same for reptiles, though.
For reptiles, it doesn't matter as long as they don't eat the soap.
Nom.
Here's Stubby.
And
inside the water.
Glory. Wait, I have an idea. We could put him in a puddle by the trampoline. There's a little puddle on the trampoline.
No.
No thanks?
No.
Okay.
Plop. And Stubby just walked into the water. Yay, his first jump into water.
Sploosh.
And that will end our video. Whoops. Geese got in there.